This is Miss Margaret, and this is the eve of the inauguration, and I have a few thoughts. Not exactly what you might be thinking I'm going to talk about, so kind of stay with me on this. I chose this location because it rather emphasizes the point that, well, we don't know where we're going. You're going to see some joggers. There's one approaching now behind me. This is a trail that's highly trafficked with runners and with bikers, not motor, no motor powered vehicles allowed. So just take it in with me, and let's talk a little bit about change. And unlike a lot of my lives, I just speak off the cuff. But today I wanted to have a more structured conversation, which I'm sure some of you who are more disciplined than me will appreciate. And you're going to see me pulling at my clothes. It's gotten kind of chilly out here. It's a beautiful day. I don't know the temperature because it's not in front of me. I'm sorry. But I think it was about 57, 60 something when I left the house. And I think that I would be more comfortable if I gave it a neck uh, change. And I'm planning to title this live as Change as Opportunity. Change as Opportunity. It may change to a variation of that, but that's what the goal of the conversation is that I want to have. So I did some reading and looking and soul searching this morning about change. We are about to move into another era, not just another administration here in the United States. And for those of you who are my international subscribers, I want to say to you, while this is an American problem because of the whole idea of hegemony, which I will talk about later, um, it's everybody's issue. It's everyone's concern, in my humble opinion. Change. And you hear this commentary that change is the only constant in life. Things are constantly changing, constantly changing. We tell young people that if they don't change, they aren't growing, to expect change in life, to expect that there's no reason for things to remain the same, except that now you start to go backward, right? We want to go forward. So this is sort of the basis of the conversation. Change. What is it? Is it good? Are we ready? How will we respond to change? All the things. And Google, as we research everything on Google, most of us anyway, just for a quick glimpse into what change is, Google suggests that to accept change, acknowledge your feelings about it, understand the reasons behind the change, manage your stress, and consider the positive aspects that may arise from a new situation. And finally, try to reframe the change as an opportunity to grow, adapt, benefit, and avoid the negatives of it, the disruption of it. Managing the stress of change. I remember reading a report once that when apartheid fell in South Africa, there was a huge surge in the numbers of domestic violence cases. surge upward. Large increase. I think that it happened with Obama, although it wasn't a duplication of the same article I read with updated numbers and more relevant information as far as the U.S. is concerned. It's something I should probably look up, but for the time being, that's a little bit off topic, and I want to stay on topic. What I'm going to discuss going into this, I'm going to try to look for the opportunities, and if you have any commentary, please put them in the chat below. I will say that now's a good time to like, share, comment, subscribe, all the things. Oh, one last thing. You're going to see my glasses change. I have the light sensitive lenses because I'm getting old. It's cataract time. So in order to avoid it, I'm actually supposed to wear these lenses, but I don't have them on, and these are cute, so you know how that goes. Anyway, yeah, so like, subscribe, comment, and share. Moving on into the conversation, I want to talk about the things that are changing. TikTok comes to mind. As of just before midnight last night, they went dark. It was a high-stakes battle that pitted the federal government of the United States against the nation's most popular social media platforms, TikTok in particular. Congress passed the measure last spring with overwhelming bipartisan support, granting TikTok a 270-day window to cut its ties with the China-based parent company ByteDance or face a ban. Well, here we are. We're now facing the ban. The change here is not just social, it's also economic for many people around the world, I might say, because if you're doing business with people through TikTok, my sister educated me on TikTok last night. I think we were talking, and I thought it was just where you go and you quickly post something, because I'm not a big user on TikTok. I had an account there, but it was mainly to watch and see what was going on and to remain informed about social media, because this is where I make my money. It's how I earn my living. Excuse me. But she informed me that you can buy and sell on TikTok. I didn't know that. That it's not just for, which is what I probably used it for, recipes, fashion, keeping up with the trends and the, trending topics, who went where, celebrity. As little as I follow celebrity in general, I do find it interesting at times, some of the decisions they make and how it affects our mentality. Just now what came to mind is, what is her name? She just got that award, the Golden Globe Award. Man, she was married to Bruce Willis. Can't call her name right now. But anyway, I remember when she got pregnant, she took a picture showing her belly. And all of a sudden, the average woman was out showing her belly, and it has continued today. Me personally, I'm not a fan of it because I grew up in a more conservative time with more conservative parents, perhaps. And the point is that back then you didn't, here I go, back then you didn't show off your stomach. It was a time to be humble as a woman. You didn't show your belly. I don't have any pictures of my mother pregnant. I've checked with my cousins. They have no pictures of their mothers pregnant. It just wasn't done. If you catch a picture of a woman pregnant posing intentionally from the 60s or the 50s, that's a find, because you just didn't see it that often. TikTok, back to that. I'm not sure I care. And here's why. When it comes to national security, keep in mind you're talking to the daughter of a veteran. There's no room for wiggle. There's no room for negotiation. If we are feeling insecure, if the government feels insecure, I feel insecure. I don't give a one whit about TikTok when it comes to national security. Understand, know, and believe that China feels the same about its sovereignty. Every country has a right to its sovereignty, and that's all there is to it. He jogged way over to get out of my my frame. Anyway, he's very fit. All right, give it to him. All right, so now that's my issue with TikTok. The positive in it for me is that if TikTok can happen once, it can happen twice. Why can't someone else go and create a version of TikTok that does not threaten national security? That's the only opportunity I can see, on the surface. I know it's more complicated than that, and you have to build up an audience of, 1.8 million or something like that. Hey, sup? Abe Rajawat. I hope I'm saying that right. Where are you tuning in from? Oh, thank you. I tried my hair. Let me tell you about hair. We're gonna take a little pause here, a little commercial break. Hair. Let me tell you. I can't even see it. I see. Is that India? It looks like the Indian flag to me. It's really tiny on my little screen. Yeah, I got it right. I know my flags. Which we're going to talk about in a minute, because if civic education. Anyway, I'll come back to it. But anyway, about hair. Gray hair. All my people about to turn gray, please don't fight it. Go with it. Please go with it. Because when you put these dark and extreme colors in, all it does is emphasize stuff like this. My wrinkles and so. I'm proud of my wrinkles. I earned them all, each and every one. But anyway, MGTV. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for joining. All right. So the other change that's coming other than TikTok is the inauguration vibe. I'm calling it a vibe. Why? Because it's not just the inauguration all by itself. It's what it is bringing out in people, how people feel about it. The inauguration in the worst weather throughout time has always been held in public, where the public could experience, join in, and feel a part of the presidency. It was one of the few times that would happen during the tenure of any president. And now, because it's going to be 20 degrees, I'm wondering why they don't just pass out those mittens that we saw Bernie Sanders wearing and get on with it. I personally, again, my father was a vet. If the veteran can sleep outside, night on night, month on month, in the heat, in the cold, in the rain, in the sleet, in the snow, surely on your heated podium, you can give us 1 hour. That's how I feel about it. But they're taking it indoors, and it's now a private event, except for those who have gone to Washington. I think they said they're going to have a public event, and they can go and to a stadium or something. But I'd be upset if I spent that kind of money and took off time from my job just to go watch TV. I could have done that at home for free. Anyway, Tabitha Speaks Politics. If you have never watched her channel, she posted live this morning. And I did not know that she would talk about what she talked about. I was shocked. I couldn't even watch the whole thing, to be honest with you. She talked about Nelly and Soulja Boy making these commentaries to defend their participation in the inaugural celebration. So I jotted down some notes as she was talking, and apparently, and I don't follow every little thing that happens in the world, but Nelly, Soulja Boy, Rick Ross, and Snoop Dogg apparently are performing. And that is something that represents a change for us as a Black community, where we have traditionally been more loyal to the community and to one another when it comes to being offended. And I'm choosing my words carefully here. You must know that. So Tabitha is talking about how they were bought, essentially. They were more concerned, they are more concerned, she's accusing, that they are more concerned about money than community. So that made me think, well, they must need the money. Untrue. Here we go. Nelly is worth $70 million. His net worth is $70 million. Does he really need this gig? Or is it ego? I don't think it's money. I think it's ego. I think it's to be a contrarian. Same thing with Soulja Boy, and I'm coming back to him. Put a pin in Soulja Boy because we're coming back to him. Rick Ross's net worth is $150 million. Snoop Dogg's net worth is $160 million. Now, Soulja Boy, whose net worth is allegedly $5 million, but we all know he's broke, is the only one who probably needs the money. But it's not enough that he's taking the money. He had to also be insulting. He released a video, I'm guessing on Instagram, and he invited former President Obama to perform orally. I think it was not only insulting, it was in poor taste. Abe Rajawat is asking for the context of what I'm saying. So let me go back. I'll dial it back a little bit. And thank you for reminding me. I have a way of just talking on as if everybody tuned in at the same time. What I'm talking about in general is change as opportunity. And I'm trying to take something of a brief assessment of what is happening in the world, what is changing right now, what is it that's making us different, what's making us change, which is what's making us pivot. So far I've talked about change in general and how we are allegedly to receive change and how to make the most of it. I talked briefly about TikTok and how that makes change economically and socially. And now talking about the inauguration itself. It's giving inauguration vibes. And it's driven by the participation of 4 celebrity performers, 4 rappers to be specific, who are participating in the inauguration. And there's some sort of antagonistic response coming from I don't know, I don't want to put it all on the Black community. I mean, anybody in any community would have a reaction, whether it's positive or negative. And there are 3 people coming jogging, and they're just talking and chatting and whatever. So I was getting into the there they go. Just wanted to give them a chance to pass. So that's the context. Oh, TikTok is banned in India. I didn't know that. All right. I wonder what is it banned? Was it accepted and then banned, or was it just banned outright? You never had it ever. If you would just put a comment there so that I'm educated on that point. I did not ever think about other countries or looking into the list of where TikTok is allowed or banned. And if there's a reason, the relationship with China. Got it. So, talking about the inauguration vibes, that led me to start thinking about why this inauguration is different from others. If you're just joining this live, please tap the like button when you come in. I'm supposed to say. I really hate saying that. Is it me? Uh, it just seems so self-serving, but okay. Like, subscribe, comment, and share, please. I think please makes it go down easier. Anyway, going on, the incoming administration and the inauguration vibes. So I'm doing a then and now comparison. And I made out a little table of then and now. Then would be the last time I remember the energy being what it is. That would be Obama for me, President Obama. It would not be President Biden for a myriad of reasons. But I want to go back to President Obama and what it felt like because he was a first for us, as opposed to present day, as in tomorrow, when we get a new administration and something that has never happened before is happening, which is, we are swearing in the 47th president, who was also the 45th. My name is Miss Margaret, and I bet you are too much. Yes, my name is Margaret. You could call me Miss Margaret. You could call me Margaret Ann. It's up to you. Just don't call me Maggie or Peggy. Peggy was my mom. All right. Then and now. Then with Obama, we felt hope. Not only was it part of his campaign, but we really felt there was hope for the nation, that we were improving, we were getting better, we were becoming our own version of Star Trek Unity, all the nationalities in the control room and on the bridge with a captain we believed in, and we were going to get this thing, finally get this thing. Then I look at now and I realize we're afraid. There's a lot of fear. We've gone from hope to fear. Fear of the future, not knowing how to feel secure with a person who's so, what can I say, unpredictable. You don't see him coming. He'll wake up on Tuesday and say something, and suddenly everything has changed. You think you have a plan. You think that you know where this is going, and then you find out you don't. Then with the Obama inauguration, we were anticipating, great anticipation. Oh, this is going to be great. Things are going to be, improving. Policies will get better. Our relationship with other countries will improve. Not that they were awful, but there's always room for improvement. And we just believed and anticipated that change, not knowing what it was. We anticipated. As opposed to now when we're feeling apprehensive. Diplomatically, we don't know if games will be, reversed, who our allies will be, participation in international bodies, and we just don't know. We're in the dark, and we don't want to be. It's not what democracy is supposed to feel like. It's not. With Obama, we had joy, we had happiness. Now, tomorrow, there's so many people who are angry about what he represents, what he said, his personal conduct, his civic lack of participation, railing against the very government that's putting him at the helm. We want to like our president. In fact, we want to love our president. And that's very difficult for half the nation, legitimately half the nation. Excitement has gone to ambivalence. Nobody wants to attend. Nobody wants to watch. Nobody cares. Nobody's tuning in. I mean, there's even something going around now saying leave your TV on, but have on any channel other than those that are broadcasting to make sure he gets a message from the general public about our disdain. I've never heard that before. Never. People are aggravated as opposed to expecting great things. Pride, national pride. the melting pot that is America. All the things that we loved about the country, well, now we've gone from pride to prejudice, you see. And so now all of a sudden we want to split hairs about, where someone is from, or did they, how long have they been here generationally? Checking birth certificates going back 2,000 generations. I mean, just ridiculous stuff. And again, you do want to maintain your sovereignty, but you also want to walk it how you talk it, right? Celebration. We've gone from celebration to sorrow. I'm looking up to see if the rain is coming. I don't think so. From celebration to sorrow. Abe, thank you. You made my day. I'm going to read this to y'all. It says, Miss Margaret, I just attended your live session, and I must say the way you speak and express yourself reflects a truly pure and caring soul. Your deep perspective on things is inspiring. Thank you. That's so sweet to say. A lot of times people think something, but they don't actually say it. Sort of like laughter. They laugh inside, but it never actually comes out. So thank you for offering your observations in writing and keeping me elevated. I'm trying to discipline myself. If you've never chimed in or tuned in before, look at some of my old live clips. I just talking away. But today I really wanted a structured conversation. I'm not sure I'm doing an excellent job with making sure everyone knows what we're talking about, so I'll repeat it. And that is change. That is the theme of this live. Change. What is changing in the world? How are we processing it? How are we responding to it? Just what does it mean? What's it all about? You remember that song? Okay. Confidence. We had confidence in the election. Now we find ourselves disappointed in the election. Results, I'm talking. Do we just say okay and keep it moving, keep it pushing, or do we become more involved than we've ever been before? I would go with the latter, but I will say that one of the things, I'm just going to skip my last few here. I wrote down trust and regret. Those were the last two items on the then and now. We trusted Obama, and now we're witnessing a lot of regret of those who trusted in the campaign of the elected president. So let's talk a little bit about the economy. That is another feature of our incoming administration, that they are more concerned with economy. The battle between the haves and the have-nots. It used to be a battle of the races. Well, now it's the have and the have-nots. I remember along my journey in life, it seemed like we went from racial divide to educational divide. It was about what you knew and what you didn't know. Now it's about what you have and don't have. So those are changes that I see in the space and time of politics in America. I would like for us to go back to the knowledge piece, because being from somewhere else, having a different skin tone does not preclude or limit your ability. My dad was a high school dropout. He forged his birth certificate and joined the Navy. And that was done in those days. I guess now we're talking about the 40s, 1940s, something like that. And he still made a life for himself and his family. He learned general contracting, was licensed, and ran a successful business, put my sister and me through college, took care of his wife. and was one of the greatest influences over my life, which has nothing to do with his skin tone. It had to do with his character. And I think that's what we need to go back to. So I had mentioned hegemony earlier, and I want to talk briefly about what a hegemony is, because in the global perspective, America is a hegemony. Hegemony is often achieved through consent rather than force. Disappearing alternatives is another characteristic of hegemony, and it's achieved by making other alternatives seem impossible. Institutions used to formalize power. Yes, I'm reading my notes. I don't have this all in my head. I told you this was structured for a change. Education, advertising, and publication can be used to instill the ideals of the dominant group. And ding, 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 social media comes to mind. And I want to talk here now. Education to me is our failing. We got rid of prayer in schools. We got rid of vocational education, specifically those that would allow young people to have a future as business owners, which is how this country really is built and has maintained itself. But no, we got rid of that. We no longer teach civics per se and government affairs. So people are voting, not knowing anything about how the government functions. How is it that you're voting on a system that you know so little about? We also got rid of some rudimentary skills that were learned in home economics. How to budget your money, how to manage a household, how to manage yourself, hygiene, clothing, sewing on buttons. They seem like simple things until you meet a young person that can't even read their name when it's written in cursive. We have a problem. I'm sorry to if it's turning dark in this live, but I have to speak the truth. There's no point in just celebrating the mediocrity. None. Am I on Instagram? Yes, I am. I am on Instagram. I could give it more attention than I do, but yeah, I'm on Instagram. And once in a while, you'll see me post over there, forgetting that it shows up on YouTube. So charge it to the head, not the heart. It's just a lot going on. I'm a one-man band, and so I have no help. It's also called Midlife Priceless on Instagram, midlife_priceless. All right. So now another change we're witnessing is DEI. McDonald's, I think. Who else was it? Facebook. I'm not sure about Amazon, but it looks like we're steering away from diversity, equity, and inclusion as business values. It's whatever I say it is because it's my company. Never mind how it affects the landscape of opportunity that is America. If you are a person of color, I can't say I support this whole POC business because everybody jumps on the bandwagon with that thing. But if you are a person with a lot of melanin, let's call it that, diversity, equity, and inclusion is something we have suffered with because we never had it all of our existence. I'm 60. I don't remember a time when I felt I truly enjoyed the richness of diversity that is available to me, but because of all the way we chop it down and, not over here, this is for you. I've missed out on the equity piece, that's for sure. And inclusion, keep it going. What I've had to do is be my own DEI manager. I insist on meeting and being involved with people who understand diversity, are as committed to equity as I am, and include me. I've worked in places where I've had none of that support, and trust me when I tell you, it is a self-esteem destructive element. And I don't know that I said that right. Let me back up. When you don't have anyone who is an advocate for diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace, it is soul destroying. Soul destroying. And I mean that. The solution, to me, is just education, plain and simple. Plain and simple, education. We've got to get back to teaching children how to grow things, how to think objectively, critically, analytically. We need to, really give some thought to how we are raising the children in our global village. I think that's where we've failed ourselves, we've failed our communities, we've failed our countries. We've just failed as a human race on that point. I won't even talk about climate change. That's a deep, deep subject. Abe, it looks like you're checking out. So thanks for joining me today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. And I thank you. I'll see you over on Instagram. So I thought I would end with the lyrics of a song that I grew up singing in church. Whether or not you are a Christian, I think the truth is the truth all the time. And one truth is that, and I'm starting the lyrics to you, to read the lyrics to you. Time is filled with swift transition. Naught of earth unmoved can stand. Build your hopes on things eternal. Hold to God's unchanging hand. It's Sunday morning, so of course, a hymn is apropos for me. Trust in him who will not leave you, whatsoever years may bring. If by earthly friends forsaken, still more closely to him cling. Thanks for joining me this morning. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.